In a world with entirely too many shows about cars, this is another pointless automotive podcast.
Oh, look at you.
Ooh,
You
sound
can
effects.
you can drinking son of a bitch. What are you
Yes, I
drinking
can.
tonight? Before we even introduce ourselves or what the hell we're doing, what are you drinking tonight, man?
I am imbibing with no plans, no problems.
All
This is
right.
it. I wanted to get something slightly automotive themed. This is what I feel like I need to try and do this
Oh,
more frequently. And yeah, it's got an early Ford Bronco on it.
very nice. Yeah.
All jacked up. It's got a wench.
Great color.
Got some healthy mud terrains on it, and it's ready to go. It's
Very
just
nice.
getting after it, and I'm going to get after it. How about you, my friend? What are you sipping on? Gin and or
Not
juice?
Miller Lite. I am drinking what would I like to say? A
Ooh,
North Coast Brewing Company Red
okay,
Seal Ale. So it's a
right.
red. I love red ales. So cheers, my friend.
Better dead than red. Cheers.
Was that a commie reference? I like that. That's a good way to start.
Yes, yeah. In a shocking turn of events, we're actually just going to be pivoting our entire podcast at almost the 3 year mark to only being deeply anti-communist. It's the new
To
it's
tell
it's
you,
the new thing.
I've been
Chairman
waiting.
Mao,
I've been
what a
waiting since
what a
week one,
sucker.
baby. Let's go.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all been a 3 year bait just to try and to get people on board so we can go in the brave new post-electorate world that we can be in. We can finally let our
Love
hair
it.
down and go full anti-communism.
I love
Um,
this.
we'll discuss that more further. Um, you know
Stay
what's
tuned.
you know what's not incredibly anti-communist?
You got me. Nothing I care about.
The yeah, the majesty that is the Honda Accord.
Oh,
I
according to some, one of the best cars ever made.
I
Some
yeah,
top 10 best lists, I think. I think we'll mention that.
it's been on that a bunch, and I just wanted to take a second to talk about the Honda Accord because I think I've got
Mm.
this running theory that we're men of a certain age, and that certain
Agreed.
age is the 40s,
Yeah.
and but really I think anyone
Colonoscopy.
in their in their turn and cough age era like we are
Mm.
is has got some secret, or not even secret, just like this like deep connection to the Honda Accord, whether it's their parents had one, or they had one as a first car, or they had one as their ninth car, or their grandma had one, or their aunt had one, or their college girlfriend had one. Like everyone had, I don't know. I think everyone has an emotional connection to the Honda Accord.
Mm.
So there's that, but also like it's a good thing, the Honda Accord. At least it was.
It's a very good
Maybe
thing.
we'll touch on the current Honda Accord. I don't know a whole lot about it, other than I don't think it looks particularly great. Um, but yes, I just wanted to let wax poetic about the
Mm.
Honda Accord.
How about let's start off? We like to do this, our histories with
Mm,
said car. Frank, what's your history with the Honda Accord ownership wise?
boy, okay. I guess I'm just gonna feed right into what I was talking about. So growing up, like as a Ute, as
Oh,
they call it, the earliest memories I have of the cars that I grew up in
mm.
were, so I was born in 1983,
Great year.
and upon my birth, the two cars that my parents had, and they had them for some time, was my mom's 1982 Toyota Celica GTS hatch, and or liftback, I should say.
Mm.
And then my dad had a 1979 Honda Accord,
Cool.
tan over tan, 5 speed, two-door hatchback.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the first generation Accord, which we got from 76 to, I believe, 81, I believe was the last year of the first gen Accord.
That sounds about right.
And what was interesting was, as similar as that is to a two-door liftback hatchback Toyota Celica, which is funny to think that like those were the two cars that were the family haulers, were
Right.
two-door hatchback compact, like cars. Just like
Wow.
that's what did family duty between me and my younger brother. And of the two, my parents very much like the Celica was the nice car,
Mhm.
and it was moderately well optioned, and that was the one we would take on trips. And then the Accord was like the commuter beater until it died unceremoniously when my brother was probably 5. So he was born in 88. And so that would have been what, 93, 94.
You almost made it like your brother was part of the unceremonious death of the
Yeah.
Accord.
Yeah. We mourn him not as much as we mourn the loss of the Accord, but we mourn his loss to this very day. Um, but that was the earliest iteration with the Accord. And then fast forward to high school, I had many friends that had hand me down Accords. I had two very good friends of mine, and that now it's funny. I think actually now thinking back, they were all young women. So my friend Stacia had an 80, I think hers was an 87
Okay.
Accord sedan
So that's when it was a
LXI,
sedan. Yep.
blue over blue with a 5 speed.
Oh.
My other friend Jackie had an 88 LX, so carbureted. I think it was an LX. It was called the Crazy Taxi. She was deeply into ska, and she had so she got like checkerboard pattern, and she wrapped all the impact the side moldings in it, so it had like it was almost like a taxi strip around the whole side. She
Nice.
eventually that car had over 300,000 miles on it, and she traded it effectively for an iPad back when or not an iPad, sorry, iPod
Oh,
back like for like a second gen iPod back when that was like a new thing.
good trade.
Um, and then I had another friend of mine who Kristen, she had a so those were all third gen Accord. She had a fourth gen Accord. It was like a 90 sedan. Um,
I love that I asked you your history of owning Accords and you've gone into your extended friend tree.
that's
Like,
what well
oh, I
that's what I'm getting at.
my,
Like
my
everyone
third
has this
cousin
like
Jeffrey owned a hubcap off
and then
a
guess what?
79.
I graduated high school. I went to the junior college across the street. I met my then girlfriend, now wife,
Who drove an
and she
Accord?
still had her first car. It was a 1986 Honda Accord LXI hatch,
Ooh.
had 240,000 miles on it, white over blue, automatic.
Mm.
Um, and had that for many, many years. Ended up going back to my friend Jackie, who had the Crazy Taxi Edition one, who traded hers for an iPad or an iPod.
Mm.
She ended up needing a car, so she ended up getting that hand me down when I bought my wife an '86 Celica. And yeah, like I have this deep femorial, like famorial, not femorial. There's no, I don't know. My femurs are intact; they've not been
Good.
entered in a court. But like, no, I have a lot, many friends and family that have like their first car or their second car or just like connected to the Honda Accord.
Hmm.
The only one that I have ever owned is one that I currently own and haven't touched.
What?
I bought it for $1,000.
Mm.
It's an '87 hatch, LXI 5 speed
Very
that
cool.
mice got into and had a head gasket issue. It's going to be a can of worms, but it's cool. Um,
Cool
and
cameras.
once this Crossfire that you see behind me, yes, we've had a change of scenery behind me. Once this Crossfire in the garage exits it, which should be relatively soon, that's what's coming in here next. Probably is going to be that Accord
Mm.
to get
Nice.
that thing sorted. So yeah, I know I'm trying to think. I
So
want to say I've
roundabout,
probably
you've
driven.
owned that. We got back to you owning just one of these magnificent machines we're about to dive to,
Yeah,
and
one and like a third.
I'm literally no better, dude. So we didn't grow up in a Honda Accord household. We grew up in the Ford Escort Chevy Cavalier household.
Mm,
Read into the socioeconomic patterns that may reveal about my childhood.
sure.
But as myself, I've never owned an Accord. The
Lies.
TSX would be a stretch, right? The
Lies.
TSX would be, I know, I'm going to say another one. I've owned two, technically. The TSX Accord Euro R, but
Yeah.
maybe we call that one. But I did own the '03 6-speed manual super rare coupe
Yeah.
with the V6.
What a
And
thing.
first combination that Honda Accords were ever offered with that, with a manual, with a V6. And that J series engine is absolutely wonderful. I kind of want to talk about it later too, but that was a hell of a car, dude. 0 to 60 time, just like a few ticks behind my NSX. Like that motor is seriously underrated in that car. And apparently there's all this like talk about how it was like a secret Skunk Works project where it was like a true enthusiast car where they had a couple extra ponies in there. So I think that's cool. The badge was sneaky,
Got the
like the
red
little
badge,
red
baby.
V6 badge. I like that. But that was a cool car, man. And I like that car a lot. That was a very well made car.
That is,
Mm.
boy, am I going to say it? Is that Gen Peak Accord?
Ooh,
Which would be the 2003 to 2008
yeah,
Accord, I think.
I think that's it. Oh boy, that's tough. You know what? I have a real soft spot, and we're going to talk about it. So the last generation, not the current Accord generation, you could option a Sport 2.0 with a 6 speed manual. And the reason, and I think those were great looking cars, and they were
They're
nicer
good.
interiors, good all around car actually. I want to say something that makes that car so special is that 2 liter is a detuned Civic Type R motor,
Mm-hmm.
which is so cool to get that in an Accord. And there's two sports. There's like the sport with the small engine, the 1.5 turbo, and then there's the 2 liter
Avoid
turbo. Yeah, get the 2 liter turbo with that 6 speed manual because right now the new Accord, which we're probably going to talk about, Frank, we're just going to get there,
one
doesn't
day.
have a manual, and it looks like a melted bar of soap. It looks like a turd. Um, it's turdish. it's
I yeah, I will. You're right. You said it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
The
But
current Accord.
so I would argue that the generation before the current gives that J series powered one that I owned a run for the money because I think that's a damn. If I want to buy a modern car that I need to commute in, haul people around in, still roam my own gears and have a good amount of power, like a cool, fun engine, it's
Yeah,
kind of a great all around car.
that's the 10th gen, I believe, right?
I think that is correct.
Which is crazy to think we're on the 11th generation Honda Accord.
Insane. Yeah, every 5 years,
Um,
right?
yeah, I do. That you're right. That 10th generation
Kind of special.
is a very good car.
Mm-hmm.
You can get that, and to think that like because what that went into 2022, I think
Yeah, 2022. 23s were the
2022,
the melted bar soap.
right? And that you can still get, which is a very much a full size sedan. That's kind of my mental knock
It's
on those is they got really freaking big.
They got big.
Like you compare a first gen Accord to that 10th gen, and it's holy smokes, like
Oh yeah, of
that's
course.
that's kind of any car, but I feel like maybe the Accord is like the poster child of that.
Sure.
And the Civic for that matter.
Good
But
lord.
that you can still get it with, a six speed sport 2.0 T, good build quality, just a good all the way around car. Yeah, avoid the 1.5. They had like fuel dilution issues and a bunch of other stuff, but like,
That two
that was
liter.
a big improvement over, was it the generation right before that, or was it the one before that one, the eighth generation that had the upside down door handles?
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird touch. But the other thing to point out too with that 2 liter turbo is, dude, I've driven the automatic version of that, which is pretty snappy too. That power
Mm-hmm.
plant is freaking quick. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
detuned. I think it's like 250 horsepower plus some
something
change.
like that,
But
256 or something, and it's got a smaller turbo and like less aggressive cams. But
thing absolutely motors though, dude. And I think that's a very attractive car. And I know it's larger. You said that. I think the new one wears its weight worse. I think that previous
yeah,
generation, it kind of hid the weight a little bit. If you see like a new Civic, like a modern Civic is like bigger than like the fourth or fifth gen Accords. It looks like they're freaking massive now. And
no,
that's
they are.
just
Yeah.
everything's got bloat, right? All modern cars bloat up. I love the image of the 911, like the 70s 911 next to a modern 911. It's the most
Oh yeah.
abstract thing. Even Mini Coopers have doubled even since they came back with the R53. But that's besides the point.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm trying to think of what, not to go on a complete tangent here, but like that is such a prevalent trend. What is a car that hasn't fallen victim to that? Even
mm,
stuff like a Tacoma
oh,
and
dude,
stuff.
yeah, dude,
Really
a
all
Tacoma.
trucks.
How about
Um
Miata? Miata grew.
Miata's
MC was the
probably
largest.
closest.
ND took it back, baby.
Yeah. Which is impossible. You never see like shedding pounds, especially on a car where, like that.
It did it. Yeah.
That might be the closest example. But even then, you look at an ND and an NA, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's a pretty significant difference. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, that might be it. But like ultimately, back to the Accord for a second. And part of the reason, and I when I said let's talk about the Accord, I didn't mean this to be on a let's bag on the current Accord.
Mm,
However,
dude.
um, the Accord going back until at least the third generation, probably realistically back to the original,
Hmm.
was always the kind of fun, kind of good to drive, kind of sort of tossable, mid-sized, and then eventually full size family car
Yep.
compared to really anything that wasn't a 3 series or a 5 series or a uh Mazda product. Kind of it. Like it's hard to name something that was more like you always look at, say, that third gen 80s Accord I was just talking about that all my friends had in high school as hand me downs.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that compared to its contemporary Camry, which at the time would have been the first generation Camry, and then into the second generation Camry. There was nothing sporty about those early Camrys at all.
Right. Yep.
And the Accord was the more fun one, the more tossable one. Like just the inputs were good, and they were reliable. The Camry was also reliable, but it was the more fun. It was the more fun vehicle, and that was Honda's rub, right? Like we do motorsports and we have motorcycles. And we're not
Agreed.
going to
But
talk about lawnmowers, but
you know what always makes things more fun? Adding a third person. So let's threesome
oh
this.
boy,
So I always pictured, and I think this was the sedan like hierarchy, is you
mm-hmm.
had the Camry, which was the more staid, the more boring, reliable,
Right?
safe option. The Accord was actually in the middle, and then we had the true sports sedan, if you will, the Maxima. The early Nissan
Yeah,
Maximas offered a little more performance
that's
than the
fair.
Accord.
Mm-hmm.
But God, you couldn't lose with those three cars there in the late 80s into the 90s.
Yeah,
Either one of those, they were all top three contenders and like exceptional within that. That's a talk about a jam-packed segment, dude, where you can't lose. There isn't a loser in that damn room, to be honest.
those and think about it. Like sedans have become generally, at least for domestic manufacturers and Japanese manufacturers, they've been such an afterthought. And the only reason that they get
Mm,
produced seemingly is for cafe and for rental fleets.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, like it's tough. That said, the current Camry, not super sporting, but largely excellent.
What about the TRD, baby?
But
Woo.
that's gone now. I think. I think right. I mean, they're all
Who knows
hybrid. They're
anymore?
all hybrid at this point. I had one as a Turo, a 2025 SE, so the sporty one.
Yep.
Was a fast now. Um, but I easily got 50 miles a gallon, and it was super comfortable, and like the nannies weren't
Wild.
too intrusive. It was just an incredible appliance.
Yep.
But I do think the current Camry is more fun and more sporting than the current Accord, which is kind of a shame
Interesting.
that like mantle has been, the torch has been passed.
Mm,
And maybe it's all immaterial because nobody gives a rip about sedans anyways, and
yeah.
that's a different conversation.
Sure is. Yeah.
But like that was Honda specifically, but even the Accord, which was like the family car, was still had that MO of like, let's be sprightly and sporty, and not sporty, but just enough that like it's not a penalty box, even if you get a stripper model with a manual transmission. It's like inputs are good, it's reliable, it's tossable. Have
Yep.
fun on a budget, and those days are over, and that makes me sad.
And yeah, we're definitely dogpiling on the new one, but the thing is, it doesn't look as good. They
Mm.
took away the manual option. These are big strikes in our world, right? But you know what really pisses me off, and this is kind of nitpicky, but for some reason,
I'm gonna. Is
try
it
shoot your shot. Let's hear it.
is it the rear Honda emblem? on the rear.
Dude, it's so
It's
small.
so tiny.
Dude, in my notes, I wrote like, what the hell are they trying to
I
hide?
was about to say that.
Is that
It's
off the front of like an EF Honda Civic? And it's like
it's
they
so
took it off and
bizarre.
it's
It's like
horrible.
I
It's
get wanting to
horrible.
buck the trend of like manufacturers. Like I feel like it's been a long time coming, but over the last 20 years, the
Ah,
logo has gotten bigger, bigger, bigger. Now you have Ram like stomped on the grill,
sure,
and you've got like the Cadillac crest the size of my face on
sure.
an
Yeah,
Escalade lift gate or whatever. Like I get wanting to buck that trend, but like I can't
dude.
help but think of, do you remember? And it's almost like I don't remember. There's like some modifier of 911s they would do back in the 90s, but with the tiny headlights instead of like the
Right.
actual like even the sugar scoop like
Yep.
USDM headlights are, it's a little smaller and they're weird looking. But it reminds me of on The Simpsons when Milhouse would like take off his glasses and he'd
In
have
his
like
eyes.
pinhole tiny eyes. That's what reminds me of that stupid little emblem on the back of the new
I
Accord.
swear to God, dude, they went in the parts bin. It's from an EF Civic hatchback, and they took the little teeny. Go look at one now. It's just the chrome, right? It's not like the modern ones have like an actual color palette behind it or whatever. This
Yeah,
one's
it's just
just the old.
the OG Chrome H,
It's so small.
which I'm okay with, but it's like it's comically small.
It's
It's
ridiculous.
what a
It,
bizarre choice.
it exaggerates the size of the vehicle too. It's like when you
Sure.
put small headlights on a car to make it look bigger. It's the same effect, and it's atrocious, dude. It's
Yeah.
atrocious. I love that you picked up
Yeah.
on that too.
Or shaving like or just completely waxing your junk to make it look bigger. It's similar, but the inverse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's it. Besides the new one, there's another one we should totally pick on.
I kind of want to like not pick on them, but I want to talk more. But yes, no, let's pick on some, and then
Let's
we
pick
got
on
some
a
time to talk
weird.
about good stuff.
I love Accords. We're going full Accord this one here, guys.
Yeah.
Uh, we like big butts, but this car's butt was too much. This is, of course, the Honda Accord Crosstour, my friend.
Oh, I forgot about the Crosstour.
I did
Um,
not. I thought when they came out, they were even more polarizing. Now that I see them, I just say, God, they're still ugly.
I
Some
can't
stuff
remember the
comes
last time
around.
I've seen one.
I saw one like last week, and I thought, I'm like, you know how cars come around? It's like a cyclic thing. You know what was out of style, kind of like not cool, becomes kind of cool. Not the
Yeah,
Cross Tour. It still looks like shit. What were they thinking?
I
Don't. Not even
I
because it's
like
ugly.
just
It's not even like a pug, Frank. You can't even
I like it
say.
on I like it on I like it in theory, right?
Yeah.
So Honda goes,
Yeah.
hey, lifted wagons. It's a thing now. We should be involved, which I applaud. Like, I genuinely think that's probably not a bad idea. Like, imagine, let's not talk about the new one, but the 10th generation Accord that we were just singing its praises, right?
Mhm.
Imagine if they made a wagon of that 2-liter turbo with a manual. That would be dope. And then
Dope.
imagine they made the let's even reuse that stupid name, the Crosstour. And it was a proper wagon, but it had an extra inch and a half of ground clearance, right? And it was the Outback competitor.
Okay.
Um, I'm on board with that.
That's cool.
However, they found a
No.
way to like, let's make it like extra sloopy. It's like we're gonna do part wagon, part what do you call it? Like the CLS coupe sedanification,
Got it. Yep.
and it just didn't work. And
Dude, but something's wrong with the proportion. So you know how like
the front grill's way too big.
oh, it's ridiculous. You know
Quarters are weird.
So the C4 ZR1
Uh-huh.
has a wider rear end than the base C4, and it's actually hard to perceive until you like side by side. Huh?
The whole car is wide and like whatever it is, 4
But
inches
it's
or 6
insane.
inches.
Yeah, it's hard to notice. The Crosstour engineers, they used the opposite magic to make the Crosstour ass look like it's 4 times the magnitude of the front. That thing's booty just falls out. It just falls out of the back, and it's up. I feel like you can park a
It's
regular
presenting,
car
if
under
you
the
will.
bump. It is present. It is crowning, if you will.
Isn't that a? I'm pretty sure that's a thing, right? Like I don't remember but like people that like do like.
Presenting.
Well, no, presenting is a thing,
Jesus.
but no, I mean like people that are into like anthropomorphized cars, like, and when I say into, I mean like into. Like there's like air. Like, have you seen the Arrow? Are you? God damn it! Are you familiar with aeromorphs?
No, what?
It's like people that do like they like fetishize like like the movie Planes basically. Like they get like anamorphized anthropomorphic, he tried to say, planes,
Oh,
and then they like sexualize them. I feel like there's something similar for cars, and
okay.
thankfully I don't know what that is.
Hmm.
um but I feel like the Crosstour is probably like legendary canon in that, in whatever that r dash whatever group on Reddit
There's
is.
there's nothing wrong with a car with good haunches, like a Porsche Cayman. Fantastic hips, looks beautiful. Like
What car is the most hips that don't lie? Like we
that's a
were
who?
talking just about what car has the most hips that don't lie. And by that, I mean, like, what car has the best haunches? I mean,
A Cayman's pretty damn
911s,
close.
Caymans, those are always pretty good. But like, I'm trying to think, what is the most, you know what? Maybe like Aston Vanquish, like some of those
Oh,
mid 2000s.
Jaguar F Type, good hips.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, for sure.
React. We need your comments.
Not
Tell
the
us,
cross. The cross tour is
what's the
like
most fuckable car?
I don't want to say anything bad about the cross tour. I was going to be like middle-aged soccer mom, like, but that's probably someone's kink. So I mean,
True. Yeah.
we're
Like
I mean, we're getting there,
single
man.
cross tours in your area. Um, is there a
Oh
way to
god,
make a cross tour cool though?
no, you can't, dude. It's
Like
horrible.
K swap, 6 speed.
It still
Like,
sucks,
there's
dude.
got to be a way to do it.
No, no. You're.
There's
I
got to
think you're
be.
right. We should have just done an Accord wagon because we had Accord wagons in the past, which were just the
We
sedan with
did. We
the sloped
had
back.
fourth
Fourth gen, right?
gen, fifth gen.
Is it
I
fifth?
think that's it. Fourth
Hmm.
and fifth, and then
Yep.
cross tour if that counts.
No, no.
TSX wagon though is pretty close.
That's true. Yeah, true.
TSX sports wagon, not manual, which is sad. What is your what's your favorite Gen Accord?
I don't know, man. Like overall, it's tough. I kind of, if I had a choice, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the last gen. If I was going to
Okay,
pick like my
that 10th.
perfect daily cross sectionalized with sportiness, I think I'd go with that one with a manual and the 2 liter turbo. I think that's kind of a cool car. I think it's kind of
That
like
is cool.
perfect balance.
I have a soft spot for third gen.
Mm.
Fourth gen, I would almost say fifth gen, which would have been 95 to 90, or is it 94? But yeah, 94 to
97.
97,
Yeah, I think so.
because 98 became the sixth gen. But that fifth gen, I don't love the styling.
Mm.
They're okay. I feel like I feel it. The styling on that fifth gen Accord almost makes me feel like they subdued it quite a bit and then said, okay, let's make it actually look good
Yeah.
in that generation Prelude.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
they took that third, fourth gen, they took that fourth gen Prelude and it said, okay, let's take the same design ethos, but make it look actually good.
Mm.
So I don't love the styling, but you can get a wagon, you can get a coupe, you can get a sedan, you can get a V6, which is the
This
first
is true.
generation. You can get the V6. It wasn't powerful; it was 160 horsepower, but you can get it in
Still,
V6.
yeah.
And so that might be it. All that said, I think your generation that you had with the coupe, which is that seventh gen,
So good. That
I
J
think
series
is
motor.
the sixth gen is very good as well. But I think the seventh gen really, like, the build quality on those cars were so good.
So good.
The interiors were so, I remember I had a friend of mine who, in period, right? We just graduated high school. I graduated 2002. And she just bought a 2003 EXL
Mhm.
sedan, black with a tan interior.
Yep.
And and she replaced like a 91 uh sedan DeVille
Okay. Well,
is what was replaced by this car.
interesting.
And this was a 4-cylinder auto, but
Yeah.
EXL, and it was brilliant. It had like burlwood trim and ivory leather. It was so nice. It was. Now my friend immediately took all his buddies and hot pox the bejesus out of it,
Sure.
um,
As you would.
which as one does. What a car though. And I still they still hold up. I think that really was a high watermark for that car as far as build quality, design. It
Yeah.
was about as big as an Accord should ever get. You could get a coupe. The coupe looked great. You can get a V6. You can get a 6-speed manual.
The interior point's a great point to bring up because the Accord has always had a really, really nice interior.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like that '03 I had with that DXL with that
Yeah,
perforated leather. It still looked good. Like it didn't look aged.
and that
It
had what,
the layout, it was wonderful. And it had
210,000 miles on it. That had
yeah,
miles on
something
it.
ridiculous. And
Yeah,
it was like had the faux carbon fiber everywhere. It just looked right. The right amount of black leather and just it looked good. Black and silver always looks good together with those kind of cars. What a fantastic interior that one had, and it held together really well. Well
yeah.
bolstered seats, very sporty seats, very nice. I'd be remiss not to mention this generation of Accord though. Do you remember the coupes from the late '90s, Frank, with the NSX taillights?
Yeah. Yeah, that's that 6th gen, which I
Dear
really
Honda,
like those as well. I just
dear
wish you
Honda.
can get the 6-cylinder with a manual. The 200
Yeah,
horsepower 6-cylinder, good cars. The bugaboo on those is they just devour transmissions.
the
The autos.
automatic, the V6 automatic, like lasted 30,000 miles if it was driven any kind of anything over
Yeah.
the more than grandma. And if you grandma'd, you got 45. So those were
Yeah.
just, they were glass. Those were glass transmissions.
It was a
How
bad
cool.
era for Honda, really, as far as transmissions, because the Prelude transmissions ate shit all the time. The autos, all those
Mm-hmm.
autos, the
Horrible.
Acura MDX and TL and CL and
All of them.
Odysseys, they all
Munching on
ate shit,
gearbox.
which sucks. Like,
Yeah.
because that and paint of that era too. A lot
Some
of
of
bad,
Honda's
a lot
worst
of
paint. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, which
The
sucks.
that one, the coupe with the NSX style lights, which I think is actually pretty damn cool when you think
It's a
about
good
it.
looking car. It's a
Yeah,
sharp looking car.
if you're right, if that had the V6, because that was a good stout V6 with like 200
Mm-hmm.
horsepower too,
Yeah.
with a proper, it would have been a 5-speed manual, would have been fine at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a keeper. That'd be a hell of a car to go after today, I think, because they had pretty good interiors too. They didn't hold up as well as the later generations, but those are great cars. I thought they always looked so cool. It's just what a risky move for Honda to design that tail light for that
You know
car.
what? Help me out here because you owned that 7th gen coupe,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't remember, but I know those 6th gen ones still did the
Yeah,
when you open the door with the key in the ignition. Did the 7th gen one too?
it
The
did.
coupe.
It totally did. The Morse code for H. Remember that.
That's right.
Honda.
I've heard that it's actually like just happenstance. That wasn't by design, but
No,
I choose to believe that that was
Morse
by
code.
intelligent design. I'm a Honda creationist.
One more thing we got to mention though is like
There's so many.
the Honda Accord, dude. We mentioned at the beginning, but Car and Driver, yeah, they're 10 best lists, which we covered. Go back and
Mm-hmm.
listen to those episodes. We kind of reviewed like how they stand up today. There's really fun conversations, by the way. But go back and look at the number one car through all the years that ran. Honda Accord, more nominations than any other car
Yeah.
ever, ever.
What's
That's how
I'm
good it
trying to
is.
think. I'm trying to think just off the cuff what second place might be. Maybe the 3 Series.
Yeah.
Um,
Camry was on there for a
Camry
bit.
was on there a lot. 3 Series was on there a lot.
3 Series was on there a lot. Yeah, but more than
But
anything
still
else,
not even close. It's far and away. It's at the Honda Accord. It's perennial. Like
insane.
new
Which is
generation comes out, doesn't disappoint. It's on the
yeah,
list.
for the time span we talk about spanning decades, this thing through insane changes, engines, stylistic changes, design,
Mm-hmm.
everything, it still remained the car. And it's something to be said about a car that can do that, right?
Yeah.
Like that can appeal to a broad range of people, enthusiasts, like A to B commuters. It's like the Accord did it all, man.
No, it really did. And what's interesting is it was both a commuter car. Like you can get, especially in that 7th generation and earlier, you could get a pretty poverty spec car
Mm-hmm.
that was always in vogue.
Yep.
Like you can roll into anywhere in just a freshly washed 5-year-old Accord, even in the most poverty spec possible,
Looked fine.
and you can take that to any of, like, you will never get, no one will ever poo poo you in that car. Um, which is hard to do. Like, it's hard to do.
Yeah,
You can't do that in,
good
what, you
call.
gonna do that in an Ultima? No.
I mean,
Like,
I would
well,
totally.
sure. I mean, whatever. I have no shame. Look, I've got a Chrysler Crossfire behind me. But like, it's just it's a very, very well respected car,
Yep.
not just as an appliance, but as a thing that's worth owning and
Mm.
worth maintaining. I always wonder if a lot of the initial build quality on those begets the fact that there's so many still on the road. Is people go, oh, this is a nice car. Didn't cost me a lot of money, like comparatively, but it's a nice car. And if I look after it, it's going to treat me right. So I'm going to look after it.
Yeah.
Versus someone who buys the new Ultima goes, I got this like deeply discounted and you know, whatever. My PO officer let me come here, and my PO let me come here, so I can get over here and get this for $99 down or whatever. And then those cars don't get treated as nice, and then they blow up. And
So
so I don't know.
solid question for you. We do still you see a lot in California. We see a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Honda Accords because Russ did claim them in other parts of the country, but in California you see them all the time. Serious question though, the
Mm-hmm.
overall, and you can get them for donuts now. You can pay with pocket change.
Donuts.
But if it was for better Honda paint quality,
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd see far more on the road and far more well maintained because I think once you lose your paint, a lot of people stop caring about their cars. And it's a really
It
shallow thing.
becomes a beater, even if it's not.
It does, right? And then these cars that were owned for the first 10 years and expertly maintained become like, I change the oil every once in a while. I put cheap ass gas in it. I've
Yeah.
never done any maintenance, check engine lights on. I if
The
it
check
had
engine
good
light becomes a maintenance reminder.
right?
Yeah.
If a Honda Accords had solid paint quality, I ask of you, don't you think there'd be like so many more on the road? I think that's the answer. I think we'd see so many like just absolute gems still out there. I think the paint is
Yeah.
really stealing those
I
early, I'd say all the way from like early 90s to mid 2000s paint
I think
quality.
I think that is a big issue.
Yep.
I also think that those earlier Accords up until the Honda K series showed up, they were all timing belt engine cars with interference motors.
Sure.
Whereas that same generation, everything Camry V6s and four cylinders were non-interference engines.
Mm,
And when those cars got onto their fourth owner, fifth owner, and the $3,800 car now needs an $1,800 timing belt service,
right. Yep. Good point.
which it became, well, it's either that fourth owner doesn't know because they didn't even get it with the service manual, let alone opened it,
Of course
and
not.
who knows, like it becomes an issue, right?
Yep.
So, or yeah, the paint's bad, so I'm just gonna push this thing. I'm not gonna spend $1,200 for the garage down the road to do a timing belt service on it. Car runs fine. Even if I know about it, I'm just gonna stretch this bad boy out.
Yep.
And
That's
then
it.
and then timing belt let's go on a Camry. Oh boy, it gets towed to the mechanic, and I beg, borrow, and steal to get it done for $1,000 or $1,200.
That's
If it
fair
needs a
call.
motor, now it's in a junkyard. And so, which sucks because you do any modicum of maintenance on those cars and they go forever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's weird when you start trying to do the mental math of the fifth owner on an appliance.
True.
Yeah.
With you there. I think we're up against it for time, but dude, I think this was a good idea. I think you
we can
stop,
talk we can talk Accords forever.
according to you.
Yeah.
Um,
JDM. We didn't even get to like JDM SIR
oh, all the special cool
versions,
shit we
and
didn't get.
yeah, which is
Yeah, dude.
wild. European market shit. Yeah. One
Yeah,
day.
such a versatile car, such a long lifespan. I hope they course correct. I hope they put some spiciness back into the Accord, because I think for the God, I'd like to say this is
Honest.
probably the furthest it's gotten away from being any kind of sporting intention sedan. I think this is the furthest Honda's stepped away from that because they've always had that kind of spec that could be enjoyed, and it's just not there right now.
And you know what's interesting is I feel like that should be the path for the next generation Accord, which
Mm,
is America has decided, and whether that's at gunpoint or not, that they are moving away from the sedan
yep.
and to the CUV people mover. And those cars
Okay.
have gotten very good, right? CUVs, whatever, SUVs.
100%. Yeah.
But currently, Honda has gone, okay, we'll take this current 11th gen Accord and we'll make it like this hybrid only, hyper mild type thing.
Mm.
It gets better gas. It's lower, it's sleeker, there's less of it in the wind, lower, smaller frontal area. We're going to get better fuel economy. And that's why someone's going to buy this, because it's going to get 4 miles a gallon better than the CUV equivalent. Okay, great. I would like them to do kind of what you're almost hinting at, which is get back on track.
Let's do it.
Let the people that want the full on hybrid experience to buy that CUV that the market and the tastemakers are saying that the American marketplace wants to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then go, we're going to have, for someone who does want their vehicle to be lower and sleeker and less in the wind, maybe because the same fuel economy, right? Maybe it is still a hybrid, but you make it spicier, you make it handle, you make it a little, you make it lighter than the CUV,
That's
right?
it.
You make it what those cars of the 80s and 90s were, which is still very much a family car, but light and tossable, and the inputs are good, and that's like that goes such a long
Awesome.
way,
Make
and
it
it
look
gives,
good. Make it look
yeah,
good
and you
again.
make it look good, and that's what a sedan should be,
Yeah.
right? A modern sedan should look great, it should be comfortable, and it should be far more sprightly than all of this other stuff that the market is giving out for people to have, which
That's
is
it.
CUVs and SUVs. Like
Agreed.
I would love for the Accord to become that.
Absolutely. Or bring a sport wagon. Make an actual lowered sport wagon with a manual and a good power plant.
Come for the sedan, stay for the wagon.
Absolutely. How about a 2-liter turbo? We'll use that Type R engine, 6-speed manual. Oof.
Or a high revving. You know what? Give it like an
Okay.
8,800 RPM K series with a hybrid torque fill, right? To get
Oh,
it in the
easy.
VTEC,
Oh, this guy's
right?
going crazy.
That's it.
That, that'll
Give it
be
an
great.
8 speed auto, no
That'll be
CVT.
great for $55,000. That'll be a fantastic car.
No, come on.
Yes, sir. Yes,
No.
sir. Oh,
Pshaw.
it'll
How
have
much
an Acura
how
badge.
much
But
more money does extra RPMs? Just give us some stronger
oh
valve
boy.
springs. Let's go.
Okay, we fully
Let's
lost it.
go.
So let's let's go ahead
Let's
and
go.
jump into our automotive print ad quiz game show. A name that's been nearly 3 years in the making. Frank, I am going to pull up an ad because you are the
Ooh.
victim this week. So
I am.
just
Honda Accord. Final answer, Bob.
God damn it!
Tell
And
him what he's won.
you have 10 minutes left on the clock.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You pull it up. I
up.
will explain to those listening or watching or whatever verb that you're experiencing in your life right now what this print ad quiz game situation is all about. So, Chadwick, my friend, your friend here, will read a print advertisement for an automobile from the 80s, the 90s, up until about the mid 2000s. And he will redact out the overly identifying information in this ad. It will then be incumbent upon me and you guys playing along at home to guess within 3 guesses and within 10 minutes what the make, model, and approximate year vehicle we're talking about right now. If I miss, which I won't, I can ask for hints in between guesses. That's really all you need to know. If you've probably heard me and Chad Wick here sponge this out a bunch of times, so let's just get to it. I'm ready. Chadwick,
let's go, folks.
Fire will.
So this is a single page ad. It looks like a medieval castle in the background. Vehicle is at the bottom. We're getting the passenger 3/4 with a slight elevated angle looking down on it. Super, super good looking car.
Something British.
Say that from and this is something we both would probably want to own. Okay, so
Swedish.
It's the Accord. So blank. The appraisals are in. Appraisals from experts are always enlightening. On the blank, they have been overwhelmingly glowing. Motor Trend, name drop, reported that the blank Sharply defined performance enables a driver to feel eminent, eminently, sorry, I can barely read the
Eminently.
font. This is a poor ad. Eminently in control. Meanwhile, the interior design ensures that driver and passengers are utterly pampered.
Ooh.
That's a cow reference, I believe. The
Ooh.
blank is a oh, easy now. Well-bred automobile, according to Car and Driver. Dude, they're getting them all.
Dang, the
Everybody loves this
accolades,
thing.
baby.
The ride is controlled. That is a horrible way to review a car. Yet magic carpet silky. The
Ooh, is
leather
it grounded to the
interior
ground?
is a knockout. Dot dot dot. Whisper quiet. This is like literally reading like pixels from a Game Boy from 2 miles away to give you the age of the ad. After road testing the blank with its 202 horsepower V6, that's 3 cylinders on each side arranged in a
That's
V
what I've heard.
formation for those listening at home.
Oh,
Uh,
I thought that's what it was
no, I
explaining.
wish.
That'd be
Underrated
great.
engine, by the way. ABS brakes, exclusive blank traction control, driver side airbag, and numerous luxury amenities. Road and track. Wait a second. That was the trifecta. We got
Wow, we've got
Motor
them
Trend,
all.
Car and
Ding, ding,
Driver,
ding,
and
ding.
Road and Track.
What about Maxim magazine?
This is Playboy magazine
Yeah.
says,
Naughty Neighbors says
"Juggle these nuts."
Jugs, according to Jugs,
Jugs magazine.
Gazungas.
I'm here for the articles. Simply said, we are mightily impressed. Well, that's the one they chose. They grabbed all of Road and Track had to say. If you would like to make your own evaluation, your blank dealer would be happy to oblige. Please call blah 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 for the dealer nearest you. Frank, I'm going to put 10 minutes on the clock. Again,
Golly.
really the only specs I gave was, well, I did actually give away some year stuff. You know, one driver side airbag, that
Yeah,
kind of hints.
ABS,
Horsepower was 202 V6.
202 V6, leather. So they were all about pampering and luxury. The fact that this castle makes me think it's European, but that's pure speculation.
Mm.
202 horsepower.
Yeah.
Golly.
Interesting number.
Something like a
Mm.
and bear with me, did it say Cooper sedan? I'm picturing a sedan.
Oh, I don't know if we actually said such
I don't think it said
I'm not seeing it.
or door count. It just said whatever. Passengers, pampering.
Didn't mention door count. It
Okay.
did, yeah. It said it was very quiet, whisper quiet inside.
Whisper quiet. A lot of pampering going on. 202 horsepower V6.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh,
boy, oh boy.
this is a fun one. This is a great car. Ooh.
It's not a Maxima of this era. Those had 190 for the SE and I think 160 for the lower trims.
Mm.
So I don't think it's not Nissan, I'm thinking. I don't think, and it didn't give displacement. It didn't give
displacement.
It didn't give valve count.
It did say magic carpet silky in regards to the ride. So I mean,
Well,
you got
hold on.
You got a lot to compensate for your lack of engine displacement.
Hey. God. 202.
202. A lot of luxury
I
comments.
don't think this is anything Toyota in the early 90s, which then would have been Lexus.
Mhm.
We're scratching that. I don't think this is Honda. Okay. I think I'm getting away from Japan entirely. I'm writing off Japan for now. It feels like stop. Don't laugh at me.
That's a bold move, sir.
It is. I'm
embracing the other access power.
Exactly. Yeah, basically. That's what I'm going. I'm going back over to Europe. I wanted to say something British. It's not a God damn it. It's not a Sterling. Get out of here. Which is a Honda. But V6 isn't quite doing it. And I don't think this is like any Opal we got here. I'm burning time, baby.
Burn it.
Okay.
Mm.
Let me try and get something out into the world. Not going to be a VR6. They wouldn't have called it a V6. They just wouldn't have done that. So I'm eliminating
Mm.
uh, VW. I'm basically, man, I'm like slowly eliminating all of Europe. This is not a PVR V6 from Volkswagen, or sorry,
Mm.
Volvo. He tried to say this is not a Saab V6. Never had anything like this in this period.
Mm.
There's this whole other continent in between Japan and Europe. Um,
China?
China, China. Uh, I don't. 202 is really stuck in my craw. Like it's not
It should be.
in this era.
Should be stuck right there,
Yeah.
deep within the
Okay.
craw.
Um,
What do we have for time? I like to. Oh man, we're at 5:56 and
I
counting down.
know. This is not the caddy that zigs. The caddy that zigs did not have 202 horsepower. I don't think. Out of the high feature V6. You know what?
Get us on the board.
You know what? This is gonna be my dipping my junk. Remind me of this, by the way. This is a challenge I want to put in front of you, my friend. The dipping your junk in the pool. I'm gonna dip my junk in the pool, and I'm gonna say this is a 1997 Cadillac Catera that zigs. Final answer, Bob.
Absolutely not.
Okay, okay, that's what I thought.
uh, you're wrong in so many ways. Where do I start? How can I help you,
It's an
my
Opel
son?
Omega.
Let me
Um,
let me lead you into the light. What do you got? What do you want?
um,
The cure for tuberculosis.
the
Got
cure,
it.
yeah, the cure for the hantavirus that
Say
I'm
no more.
still nursing an illness from last week. Oh boy. I'm kind of lost at sea here. So the image is, yeah, the car's in front of a castle. Without telling me specifically,
My weakness.
without telling me specifically, like what is pictured as far as layout, was this vehicle available in multiple layouts, like a sedan and a coupe and a wagon and a convertible, or just a single? It's only a sedan, or it's only a coupe, or it's only a whatever.
Boy, I don't. I want to get you to this one because this one's worth talking about. I'm gonna
Okay,
help you out. It is only available in a sedan. I don't think that's enough
okay,
of a hint to steer
okay,
you right.
okay. I've been picturing a sedan. That feels right.
We're this castle is definitely not Japanese, but if it was, it would be a Japanese temple if we were gonna know where this car is really from. It's from Japan. Frank, the
Okay,
car's from Japan, but it's clearly a European castle. I don't read into that as you will.
sure, sure, sure. Um,
Japanese sedan.
sure. Something like the Infinity J30, I believe, was not 202. Well, hmm. I know that same I always thought that was 190, but the same motor in the 300ZX was 222. So that's on the table. The 929, I believe, was a V6, rear drive, cool car.
Mm, very
I
cool.
I would have seen them going maybe dual airbags
We
in
just
that
crossed the
round
three
in that
minute three
yeah,
minute threshold.
3 minutes remaining in the period, 3 minutes. I still don't think it's a legend because it ended up at 230
Yeah, they
in
got
the
beefy.
type 2,
Ooh, if you will.
the diabetes. um I still don't think this is anything that Toyota Lexus put out. And it could be the i30, but I still don't think the horsepower's right. I mean, it might be. That was my initial hook, was the Maxima, and that's the Infinity Maxima. Um, okay. to get us moving in some direction, I'm going to say this is a 1996. No. Yeah, whatever. 1996 Infinity i30. Final answer, Giuseppe.
You are getting much warmer, my friend.
Okay.
You're ballparking it, but you're not there yet. And
Okay.
let me see, we have a minute and 43 left. The first line, blank. The appraisals are in. Think of something you'd get appraised.
These nuts.
These nuts. They were appraised.
I'm just imagining somebody going to like Lloyd's of London, like Peter North. Peter North going to Lloyd's of London to get his nutsack insured.
Just thumps the counter. Dude, it's
whoa, Mike, get over, dude. Look at this.
They are clammy
Dude,
and
Joe.
hangy.
Wow, look how vascular this sack is.
So moist.
Exactly. Why is
1 minute remains. Appraisals.
So hold on, I'm talking about Peter North nutsack.
Overwhelmingly glowing. I mean, come on. There's some hints. There's some wordplay afoot, Frank. Appraisals.
I'm talking about jewels, family jewels. Golly.
Something in the rough.
Golf.
Unprotected sex.
4 skin. Hold on. Give me a second. 2, 2. B. Ba, 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 ba. You never got a Toyota Crown. That would have made sense.
The name blank means 3 diamonds and has signified
automotive
excellence.
God, how did I forget about
years.
this car?
Time is running out.
Stop. It's a
you
Mitsubishi
get it at the buzzer.
Diamante.
I'll let you get it.
It's a Mitsubishi Diamante. But like
it is, Frank.
I forgot about that car.
Which
is a shame because we've talked about it.
Good Lord, dude. I said the appraisal. You know, you get diamonds and gemstones.
Yeah, I know. The Spanish flair threw me off. A Mitsubishi Diamante.
I fucking love the first gen Diamante, how it looks. You find one. Show me one. Anywhere.
No, they're gone.
Gone. The later ones are there and they're hideous.
Not good.
Yeah.
No.
Those early ones?
No. Diamante. Damn. Okay. Because in my head, it was like, well, Galant Sigma. No, that's not it. That doesn't work. Dude, my brain's like cursory glance over Mitsubishi, which is
so this is a 1990 Mitsubishi Diamante in beige of all colors, but good. I love the front end because it had the metal Galant, like the VR4, like the 91 grill, and it had the quad headlights. It had the slightly bigger low beams,
a little bit of like a beak kind of.
What a good looking car.
Yeah.
Good proportions, really nice body work, just the right amount of cladding. I freaking love the first gen. I would buy a first gen Diamante if I found one in any condition pop up. You won't find one. If you're going to look, are you looking at just 1990 Diamantes?
Yeah, I'm just pulling it up just so I can stare at it. Yeah,
how like good. That. Good looking car.
And they were nice. Like they had some trick stuff.
Yep.
We did get a First off, you lied because we did get a wagon.
Did we with the first gen?
I'm pretty sure we got a wagon.
I don't think we did.
They're super rare. I'm pretty sure we got a wagon.
Rare is 0 in this country.
Look up Mitsubishi Mountain wagon.
Not in US. Maybe Canada. Did. Doubt it though.
No wagon. I swear I've seen a wagon in the wild.
I bet you have.
Mitsubishi 4-wheel steering.
Yeah, a lot of technology was in these Diamantes, which made its way into like the Galant, the upper scale Galant models. But dude, it's just such a good looking car. Oh, God, I need one.
North America.
Okay, sedan, Frank is looking for an obscure car that didn't exist.
It did exist. I'm telling you.
It existed, just horsepower. Not legally, domestically in the US.
The base model used a 6G72 3-liter V6 rated 175 horsepower and shared it with the Diamante wagon. Let's see, upgraded 94 sedans got revised tail lamps. For 1995, the ES sedan was relegated to fleet sales, leaving only the LS sedan and station wagon to be available in the general public in North America.
North America.
Yeah, we got a wagon, baby.
Does that mean US though? Does that mean Canada?
North,
I'm challenging
North
it still.
America.
But anyway, so this would have
Either
been
way, I wouldn't have gotten it. They're like,
this
oh yeah,
would
it's
have
also
been
a wagon. Oh yeah, fucking
this
Diamante. Like that would have closed the deal.
this would have been the LS, so this would have been the one with the bigger motor and the just fully luxury tweaked out. And it was a technology platform. I think Mitsubishi really wanted this to be like the X Lexus LS for them.
Did
It's a
they?
stretch. It's a stretch, but I think it is. I think it's what they tried to do because they were pretty pricey. I remember them being pretty expensive when they came out.
Yeah, it was there. I know Mazda was going to launch in North America their own Lexus competitor with regards to was it Unios? I know they had that in the
No,
Unos.
no, it
I thought they
was
were going to have another one
it began with
brand,
an M. It began with an M, I think. 97
but
percent sure.
yeah, I don't know. I was curious, like an alternate universe where Mitsubishi did the same thing and they came out with
I think the Diamante
whatever.
was it. I think they wanted to test it. Front wheel drive, right?
Right.
We can't skip that fact. It was a front wheel drive vehicle, but it had the proportions of like a 7 series. It kind of looked like a 7 series space and the way the body was proportioned, but it was definitely a big front wheel drive V6 car. But I think they nailed it on design because it has that stately Lexus look, subtle but still has some cool like touches to it. I don't know. Interiors are really nice, super
Mhm.
opulent, like very spacious car
Yeah,
too. I
let's
love
go
these.
get one.
I'd score. Oh, dude, can't find them. I search every week. Just
Get your weekly.
weekly search. I've never seen. I saw one that was like a salvage title in Oregon, and I was like, oh, can I? And they only wanted like 4 grand for it. So
All the fucking money for a
all
salvage
the
title
money. They
Diamante.
knew what they had. I know what I have, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Come correct. Um,
Oh shit, dude.
well, yeah. You effectively got me.
Yeah,
I take no points out of this one. It is not a victory.
good car. I'm glad we got to it.
Yes, yeah. I'm stunned. By the way, I was thinking when you were describing the castle and shit. I'm just like, has there not been one where just on the description, the other one goes, "Oh, I've seen that goddamn ad," because like
Right.
we've seen so many of these ads, just like looking, trying to like stump the next guy for the next, And
Yeah,
nope, hasn't happened yet.
once every 2 weeks, we're perusing car ads, at least vintage car
Yes.
ads.
Well, how about we celebrate my early demise
Oh,
by imbibing in some P to the C to the P, some project car progress.
oh, you probably have made real progress. I am still in house hell, if you will.
What house hell?
What did I talk about last week? Did I talk about designing the new garage? Is that what I talked about, or did
Yeah,
I?
I was loaded on various cough medicines, so I don't
You were
really remember.
you were off your rocker, dude.
Yeah.
I could probably look in. Do you want to lead us off because you actually have a real PCP, and I'll be brief with the phone.
I do, I mean, sort of real PCP. So first off, finally, for the first time in a very long time, there is a change of scenery behind me,
It's wild. It's
which means the it's a different car with the hood up behind me, which is the Chrysler Crossfire. Um, what that means is two things. A, um, maybe the 924 Turbo is no longer with us. I still don't know. Insurance came through. They took pictures and they took 2 weeks to write a very lazy, and that's no indictment on them
mm,
because they're not honestly your random Joe Blow independent appraiser in 2024, almost 2025, is not equipped to write an estimate on a 1982 Porsche 924 Turbo
right. Fair.
with electrical issues. Just listen. So they threw it. They put a quick estimate together. They're like, oh, $1,500. We're going to send you a check for $1,500.
Oh,
And I
sweet.
said, oh, okay. And they're like, take it to your shop if they find anything else and like get a hold of us.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I had it towed over to the shop on Friday. That's my homie Joe at Poor Boys, Porsche specialist here in Martinez, California. And it is over there and TBD. What was funny was I rolled it out of the garage, rolled because it doesn't run,
Mm.
electrical gremlins galore. Get it there, tow truck gets it there. They get it to the shop. I go to the shop like 2 hours later after they drop it off, right? And they're like, yeah, we haven't touched it. Okay. So I go, oh yeah, this is what's going on. I'm showing them and ba. And I just turn the key over, room fires instantly, just fires right up. Bang, instant. Idles dead ass smooth. And it was just like crank, no start, fuel pump wasn't running. You hit the headlights, the
Gosh.
fuel pump would run weird shit, right? Takes a tow truck ride. Like, not like, honestly, under a half second crank, like, right, boom, fire,
Oh.
perfect. Like, what? We just let it run for, I don't know, 5 minutes. All right, shut it off. We're like, well, at least we can get it in the shop tonight. And say, yeah, cool. That's it. I have no other updates. Um, we're gonna find out. It could be super totaled. It could be like, oh, we put like some fuses in it and like fixed one wire and now it's great. I
Oh
don't
man.
know. This is gonna be an ever. I don't know. I think it's probably gonna be somewhere in between. I think they
Yeah.
might find
Intermittent. It's going to be an intermittent horrible issue, which is
which
the worst kind.
which might turn out to be like it'll be a dashboard out, full rewire, total loss on paper, and then it totals out.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go, we might be able to get it close for like 2 grand if you want to keep the car and give us 2 grand, then we can get it like kind of right. And which I might just take my ball and go home and say, no, I'm not dealing with that because I need to get rid of the car anyways. So give me
Mm-hmm.
my 10 grand and make it go away. But I'm also an idiot. And I can also be like, well, if you think for like 2 grand, like I can have my car and 2 grand, it's a salvage title, but it's like I can
True.
see myself doing the car guy math. So
Oh God.
that is happening. We'll see where that lands.
The
In the
plot thickens.
meantime, in the meantime, what is behind me now in the garage space is the Chrysler Crossfire. It is here because I need to do the valve cover gaskets, and I might do the lower oil pan. It hasn't left much as far as oil underneath, but I
Mhm.
do know it's leaking, and I have the parts.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Easy
So
job
like,
on that, right?
should I just do? I in theory, right?
Dude,
I
any
feel like
oil drip. I'm a huge advocate of getting rid of anything dripping.
yeah.
It's a difference maker.
Like if I leave it parked in my driveway for 3 weeks, it'll leave a dime.
I know, but it's still
I
under there if
know,
you
but it's
look.
there, and
It's
and
there if
so
you
I
look.
might do it. So we'll see. But I need to do the valve covers.
Yep.
So that's what it's in here for. I did get, if you can see the windshield surround is nice, freshly painted argent.
Mm,
So that has been done as well as getting the rear bumper and the fuel door painted. So
nice.
the guy who painted my Supra, who turned into a ghost, and I had given up.
Like he died.
Effectively, I called him like
Oh,
I
good.
called and texted him like 4 individual times.
Yikes,
Nothing.
dude.
Never heard back. It's like
Yeah.
fuck. I'm gonna find another place. They're gonna charge me a whole ass load of money to do this stupid paint work. I don't want to do it. I was like, Hail Mary. Let me call him one last time, the fifth time, right? Call him. Oh, hey man, sorry, I've been super busy. Like, yeah, I'll fit you in next week. I'll
There
come
it
to your
is.
house. I'll pick it up. Done.
Nice.
Right. He did all of it for $300. And I told him, I was like, I actually sent him because it was like, yeah, do the bumper and the fuel door. And I was like, oh, do the argent. I'll like break. I paid him 400. I was like, no, that's dumb. Like, I want you to actually answer the phone now next time I call you. So
Yeah.
here's 400 instead
Please.
of 300. Like, because it's at least worth that for bumper, a fuel door, and the a different color in the surround around the windshield. $400.
Yeah.
Do that all day. And he did a good job. It looks great. So
Nice.
um so that's my progress. That's the progress I have made. Is I've maybe killed the car, and then this one is going to get valve cover gaskets. So I took it out for a photo shoot this afternoon for
Mm.
the auction because it looks good, and it's going to be we're gonna a storm's coming in, and it's going to be sharding rain on us for a week. So this will be a good time for me to do the valve covers while it's raining and pouring. Pouring? It's pouring out. Freudian Freudian slip
Boarding
there.
is usually wet. That's fair. That's a
Yeah,
fair mistake.
yeah.
That's a Freudian
It's
slip.
it's sopping wet. How about you, my friend? Are you sopping wet? What are you up to?
Dude, no, dude, because so I don't have a garage space. I haven't been able to touch cars for months. I forgot who I was, lost my identity. But
Touch
anyway,
grass.
so I've had plenty of time to kind of blueprint things and plan things out. Last week we did talk about the garage or the shop space I want to put the new property. All I can do is daydream. I don't even know what this place is like anymore. I forgot how long it's been forever. But there's a small shed in the backyard, Frank,
Ooh.
and I want to get creative. I've always wanted to convert a shed space into like a studio, like for podcasting and doing audio work and
Oh,
video editing.
a
Because
goon cave?
yeah, well, here's the thing, right? Like I used to do it in the back of my garage, which is cool. But if there's any noise in the garage or noise in the house, it kind of bleeds
Hmm.
through. This will be an isolated thing. Now it's literally just a rough shed. So here's my plan. I'm going to run full electric to it. I'm going to put an air conditioner, one of those mini splits, so I can have heat
Yeah,
and
heck yeah.
cool, right? And I'm going to do full sound insulation. So I'm going to
Nice.
totally make this thing rock. And I want to set up really nice inside with all my new podcasting gear and everything, and really just escalate the ability I'll have to have like good audio. Same for my voiceover for my YouTube videos and stuff. And it's just I've
Hell
always
yeah.
wanted a space like that, and it can be like a really good office space too. And it's in the backyard, isolated, but full electric running to it, climate controlled. And so I've drawn all that. I sourced all the materials, and I'm ready. And I'm going to do most of the work myself, which is going to be cool. I'm super pumped. I love little things like that.
Are you gonna get like a sick, like custom podcast themed neon sign behind you for recording? It'll say like
Which will be
live on
just
air.
yeah, just a little out of focus, a little bouquet, if you will, in the background, like
Yeah, yeah.
bukkake, of course. But
Definitely. Yeah. It's just yeah. Yeah, you can't. It's like a magic eye. You squint, and it suddenly becomes the who was like the what was the BBC guy who was sitting on the edge of the bed with the huge dong, and it was they actually made magic eyes out of it. What was that guy's name?
what?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
I kind of know what you're talking about. You lost me at
The big guy.
Magic
He's
Eyes.
dead. Sadly, he's dead. He's no longer with
Oh,
us. His legend lives on.
was it
But that guy.
Dumbledore?
No, well, no, no,
Maybe.
no. God, I don't remember the guy. This whatever.
Was
The
it? It's like the neon sign in
BBC
the
meme
background.
guy.
I know what you're talking about. I have like a neon sign in the background. It looks like live nudes, but when you look really close, it's live dudes. It's like
Live dudes. That's us. We are the live dudes.
live dudes.
I'm in
But
support of this.
I really just want to do. I think it's going to be a super fun project. It's a good size shed, so it'll be really cool. I'm going to do like flooring, like really cool slat walls with the noise canceling stuff built in. It's going to be cool, man. I'm going to push
Yeah.
it. So
Damn. I'm
I
here
think
for it.
that'll be a cool project, man, because it'll look like a normal garden shed and you open it up. It's like, whoa, that kind of thing. So I've done it.
Right.
I've drawn it like 50 times. I've like hand AutoCAD'd it and pre-ordered
Right.
all the materials. So that's what I've
Hell
been
yeah.
doing. That's been my it's car adjacent, so that's my PCP baby.
Fantastic. Well, I'm here for it. I think uh the next episode might be a very special episode because we are knocking on the door of 3 freaking years doing this, which is
Dude.
first off, I'm sorry to you, Chadwick,
Yeah.
specifically. Um
They,
how you've tolerated me is whatever. It's I guess we'll discuss it more in depth that next episode.
yeah.
But until then, if you've made it to the I don't know, penultimate of the second year of our podcast episode, you made it all the way through
Climax.
this. You made it this far.
Climax. If you
The
will.
anticlimax.
Oof.
Thank you for
Is that when it goes back inside?
yeah. Yes, you just like like when you shake up a champagne bottle, but you let none of the champagne escape. It's very
I
similar.
figured it inhales and makes like a sucking straw noise.
I picture like like a gulping.
I just anticlimaxed.
Yes, I apologize for that exchange, dear listener. What I don't apologize for is the fact that you've put up with all of this and that I'm happy about it, and I know Chadwick is, and so thank you for participating and listening and hanging on for nearly 3 years. And if you want to continue to party on Wayne and party on Garth, please do so. We are at APA Podcast on the Instagram. Look up another Pointless Automotive Podcast on YouTube if you haven't done it already. If you have, hello, I'm waving at you right now. And then the other option is if you want to stalk us individually, you're welcome to do so. I'm the Photographer's Garage on most of the things. The Wick. How about you?
Yeah, do check out Frank's amazing photography on Instagram for sure. And he does some cool stuff on YouTube. Check it out. Myself, Auto Obsessive Garage for all your rescues, restorations, and reviews of total shit boxes 9 times out of 10. Check that out.
Do it. Do
And
it.
feel free to rate this podcast. We appreciate all your feedback. Negative feedback is still feedback. We'll take it. And check out the YouTube. Like Frank mentioned, subscribe. We'd like to see that. Comment.
Like
We'd
and
like to see that.
subscribe.
People comment on some of our YouTube vids, Frank. I don't know if you knew that. I went through it the other day. I replied to some that had comments from 4 months ago. We are definitely on the pulse. We are paying attention to our audience. But we
Yes.
love you guys. Check us out any way you can. And we will see you in, let's say, a week's time.
Yeah, give or
Like a
take.
healthy amount of time to recover. Love you
I know,
guys.
right? Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.